Eid Mubarak, everyone! Today I'll show you how to turn Falooda into a 3-layer cake. It's Eid, guys. We don't have time to bake a whole cake, so we're going to use boxed cake. We'll use a white one so that it can pick up the color of our Sharbat later. Now we're just going to follow the instructions on the back. So 3 egg whites. Guess what I'll put in? 3 egg whites. A 1/4 cup of oil. Guess what I'm going to add now? A 1/4 cup of oil. And a cup of water. But I'm not going to put in water. I'm going to use cream soda to get that ice creamy flavor that we love in Falooda. And I'm using a red one so our cake turns out pink at the end. Now I'm going to pour my batter into 2 6-inch silicone molds that I greased for a little bit of extra insurance. Then I'll bake them according to the instructions on the box. When the cakes are out and cooled, I'm going to trim a little bit off the top just to make them straight so our final cake doesn't look like it's leaning to one side. Another thing this helps with is that it exposes the crumb. That way it can drink up all of that Sharbat soak we're about to make. The secret to a moist cake is a good soak, and we're going to make ours using some milk and the thing that everyone has in their pantries around Eid, some ROOHAFZA. We'll mix the two together and take a brush so we can pat it gently over the top of our exposed cake. Be sure to go over every area only once so we don't get things too soggy. Now it's time to make the 3rd layer of the cake, which is the Falooda Halwa. So I'll start off with some water and add Agar to this, which is a vegetarian gelling agent. I'll mix the two until it's well combined and dissolved, and then I'll follow the instructions on my Falooda packet by adding some milk, and then by adding the Falooda mix itself, which is some food coloring, sugar, vermicelli noodles, basil seeds, nuts, and raisins. I'll bring this all up to the boil and let this cook until it's nice and thick. Then I'll put it into the same silicone molds I baked the cake in and let it cool and set in the fridge. My mix also came with some jelly, so I'm going to follow the instructions on the packet to cook that, and then I'll put this in the fridge to set as well. Now it's time to make our Sharbat whipped cream. So I'll take some heavy whipping cream in a bowl and whip this until we reach nice stiff peaks. That way they can hold their shape in the decoration that we're going to make on the cake. We're also going to add some of our beloved ROOHAFZA or rose syrup. That way we can get a beautiful pink color and the flavor that we all love in Falooda. Now it's time to assemble our cake. So our first layer goes down, soak side up, and we're going to spread some of that Sharbat whipped cream right over top. Now I'm going to take some Seton Farms pistachios, I used unsalted, and we're going to sprinkle those over top and just lay them flat so that they don't pierce the next layer, which is our beautiful Falooda halwa that I took out of the fridge. We're going to set that right over top, line them up, and then goes on another layer of that Sharbat whipped cream. Spread it nice and thin so that it can stick to the next layer we're going to put on top. Another sprinkle of those pistachios, make sure you use unsalted, and then goes on the last layer of our cake, this time soak side down. We're going to brush on another layer of that whipped cream, and then it's time to decorate. As you can see, I put some paper towels under my cake, so this will help keep my cake stand clean. I'm going to do a crumb coat here, which is a thin layer of frosting that goes all the way around the cake. It's supposed to look ugly, guys, because we're about to add the beautiful stuff now. So just slap on some more of those shelled pistachios, and then we're going to pipe some roses, because hey, Falooda is made of rose, right? So I just put my Sharbat whipped cream into a piping bag with a star tip, and now I'm just piping little spirals all the way around the cake. The beauty of piping roses is that no two need to look alike. It can look a little organic and it'll still be beautiful. Sometimes when you're piping, for lack of a better word, the piping bag will fart and let out a little bubble of air. If that happens to you, no worries, just keep going. This is what my cake looks like when the outsides had roses all over them, and now I'm going to pipe a border of roses around the top of the cake as well. Remember that jelly we put in the fridge to set? So I took that out, cut it into small cubes, and now I'm spooning it right in the middle of our cake, because any good Falooda is overflowing at the brim with jelly. Maybe I went overboard with the jelly, so I'm just gonna pipe another border of roses around to keep everything in place. And there you have it, guys, a Falooda cake. Eid Mubarak.